Resisted my friend's MLM pitch and warned others, so now her vengeful sister is plotting to sabotage my Etsy store. I live in the South. I have 14 friends/family members who sell Unique, one of many essential oils. 14, you guys. Facebook was hell until I turned off notifications for certain people in my FB feed. I was so happy to find this sub because so many of my friends are falling prey to these stupid pyramid schemes. All of that aside, I've had some infuriating experiences. My father-in-law has cancer. An aggressive cancer that was caught fairly late. His daughter sells doTERRA, and would probably transform into essential oils herself, if she could. Anyway, a couple of months after the diagnosis she convinced him to stop taking his medications and convinced him to only use doTERRA products. I was livid. He is genuinely one of the kindest people I know and he was guilted into stopping his life-saving medication. He lets her live in his home, with her husband and kids, rent-free. Her husband went to the hospital and had an emergency appendectomy and she actually posted on FB, "We don't have any insurance but I'm not worried. Dad will pay for the bulk of the bills and doTERRA will cover the rest." I'm so blessed and you could be, too. Again. I was livid. He paid almost $2,800 to cover those bills for them. We did manage to get him to stop the stupid oils and go back on his meds, which Sil was very unhappy about and told him that if he died, it would be because he didn't extend his life with doTERRA products. Yeah. Again, I was furious that she'd be so manipulative. A few years ago, that same Sil approached me about trying doTERRA for some medical issues. I'd had 2 miscarriages pretty close together and my second loss had only been 3 to 4 weeks behind me when she called me. She told me that if I'd try doTERRA, I'd never have another miscarriage again. I was honestly devastated that she could be so flippant about it and horrified that she genuinely believed what she was saying to me. I told her no, I wouldn't do that and that I was going to go ahead and proceed with my, very knowledgeable and kind, option. She wasn't happy with that and didn't talk to me for at least 3 years. My other issue is that some very smart friends are getting sucked into pyramid schemes almost left and right. The worst part is that they always call me and they're so happy. They're beyond thrilled that they've chosen to take the leap of selling lip scent/unique/Rodan. Then they usually launch into how the person who recruited them just threw an online party and they made several $100s with another couple of $100s of product and how amazing is that? I've gotten 3 phone calls between Friday and Saturday from 3 separate women who are all starting their journey into debt and idiotness. To be fair, I've only had 4 to 5 people try to recruit me into selling. And one friend does phenomenally well with Unique. She got in very early here and now has several hundred girls selling underneath her. I'm not kidding in the slightest, she was able to quit her job as a dental hygienist, which she absolutely adored but she loves being her own #boss babe even more, I guess, and she's earned a couple of trips. But the girls underneath her barely do well at all. Several of our mutual friends that she talked into it. It wasn't that hard after she showed everyone her checks and pictures of these amazing trips and then, 2 years later, her new home, have had to stop selling and just have a crap ton of crappy products sitting around because they couldn't sell to anyone. Some are foolish enough to jump into a different pyramid scheme right away. Ugh. I know this was so stupidly long and I'm sorry for that. It's just really nice to find a group of people who actually understand. I'm telling you, it's completely out of control where I live. I haven't been able to go 1 week, in several months, without someone trying to shove horrible quality products at me that I hate. Thank you for reading my ridiculously long rant. Several days ago I posted about how I just found this sub and was so happy that I found people who get it. I also talked about how I'm in the South and we're just absolutely overrun with people selling the Fab 5, Unique, LuLaRoe, Rodan Plus Fields, Lip Sense and doTERRA. Anyway, many of my friends sell 2, and sometimes more, different MLM products. That's where my story really begins today. I got a message from a good friend who lives about an hour away. She comes through town on business several times a year and we always get lunch or dinner and spend a couple of hours catching up. This has happened consistently for almost 3 years now. So, when she messaged me on Friday and told me she wanted to grab dinner on Sunday, I thought nothing of it. That's totally normal for us and I was excited and happy to see her. We meet at the restaurant at the specified time and she immediately launches into how she's found this incredible business opportunity and, guess what, she took a leap, quit her job and took it. I stare at her for a second with a sinking feeling in my stomach. Before I can even open my mouth she says, "It's Unique. I joined Unique. Can you believe it? I'm the happiest I've ever been and now I'm my own boss." I just want to stop here for a second and point out that she made over $70K a year working for an oil and gas company. Very comfy for a single woman here in the South. She had excellent benefits with paid vacation and frequent travel and, before this, she'd absolutely loved it. Anyway, she launched into a spiel about how much Unique helps women and empowers them and how the owners are just so inspiring. She went on and on about how every purchase supports a wonderful charity and we've been such great friends for so long, how could I not join her team? Again I stared at her, just blinking as she finally stopped talking. I explained that I was glad she was happy but that I wasn't interested. You guys. She didn't even blink. She smoothly said, "I thought you might say that and that's why I think doTERRA is right up your alley." And she shoved a pile of papers in my face about doTERRA. She switched, just like that. She sells both. She joined both last week. She almost put oil in her drink, but stopped when the waiter came by and just seemed to forget about it. I definitely wasn't going to remind her. I tried to tell her that they were both terrible ideas and explained how they were pyramid schemes, and you know what she said? Well, normally I'd trust you, but my girl's got my back on this. I just wish you did, too. I'm really heartbroken that you're not loving me and supportive of my amazing ventures into being my own boss. I tried to tell her that me telling her those things was exactly because I love and care about her and her future, but she wasn't having it. We went our separate ways with her calling out, "If you change your mind, babes, you know where I am. Would love to have you on my team because we're winners." She has never, ever called me babes before. My jaw dropped. I was just so shocked by the whole thing. So, there's my story. Why are so many people in the South drawn into these? It's like a freaking plague. Arg. So, just thought I'd let you guys know the next phase. She is furious with me. I texted our mutual friends and told them that if they heard from her, it was probably going to be about Unique/doTERRA. Only one friend humored her and bought about $200 worth of products from her. She considered joining her Unique team, but decided not to when several of us reached out to her and explained what was happening. This girl is very sweet and very naive and genuinely had no clue. She was surprised to hear the list of things to avoid as we named off companies, and she goes, "I have most of those in my house. I just thought they were all bad products. Every time I have a complaint or want a refund, they tell me it's my problem and that I wasn't using it right." And, bless her soul, she believed them. She said she's almost joined several teams in different companies and the only reason she didn't is because her current job is too demanding. Phew. But anyway, my friend who's selling Y/DT is madder than a wet hen. She left me a scathing voicemail, which I didn't even fully listen to because it was so mean. Here's the thing, we've always been pretty good friends. Not super close, we don't text or call or even FB very often, but we're close enough to enjoy spending time together when she came through town for work. Her older sister sells Unique. Her older sister, who has always treated her like she just kind of doesn't exist, isn't really important, etc. It was always very sad to see. She has always wanted to be close to her big sister and absolutely idolizes her, so I think that's where a lot of this is stemming from. And wouldn't you know it? Her sister told my friend to cut all the losers loose because we're going to be jealous of her success because everyone in the South knows that Unique is the best company to be a part of. Just thought I'd give an update for those who wanted it. Thanks for being here, guys. I hate seeing these ruin people's lives. It's getting awful here in the South, specifically the good old Bible Belt. Many of my friends are in debt, denial or in strained relationships because of money issues. It makes me very, very sad to see. And almost none of them will listen to those of us who genuinely care about their well-being and their futures. My friend is still in this area. Since I keep saying friend from here on out, I'll call her Leontina. We'll call her Sister Ramune. Leontina lives, normally, a few hours away from me. She used to live much closer, but her job moved her several hours away. She has 2 cats and a frog. This is relevant, promise. Her older sister, Ramune, lives very close to me. About a 25-minute drive in a small outer suburb from where I am. Leontina has been staying with Ramune since she got here a week ago. Yes. You read that right. This whole entire stupid saga started only 1 week ago, so, she's been here peddling in DT for a week, under her sister's guidance, while her whole life is back, in another state, several hours away. That may not seem super relevant, but it rubs me the wrong way even more knowing that strangers are taking care of her pets. Her neighbor at her apartment complex, who she doesn't really know very well, apparently, I decided to try one more time and talk to Leontina. Once I learned she was still here from a mutual friend, that just made this plan much more appealing. I felt like video chatting or texting/calling just wasn't going to cut it. So, I reached out to Leontina and told her I wanted to sit down and talk. She immediately agreed. She told me she didn't like how we left things and she'd like to get together. Okay, so far, so good. Then, she texted me and said she wanted to bring Ramune. Immediately I felt off about that. I told her that I preferred it just be her and I. I mean, I don't really even know Ramune. Never liked her much, to be honest. She was always pretty awful to Leontina and was very rude to a lot of people when we were in high school. She was a year ahead of us and I was glad when she graduated as it eased some of the stress off of Leontina, who was always trying to get Ramune's attention and approval. Very, very sad. Long story short, Leontina refused to come without Ramune. I met them at a small coffee shop because I was not about to have them both at my house at the same time. Anyway, the moment they came in, Ramune just started berating me. How dare I hurt her sister like this? How dare I try to stop her from living her dreams? A supportive friend would never behave like that. Maybe Leontina wouldn't be wildly successful, right off the bat, but I could at least support her while she's trying to take control of her future. What do I even know about business? I just have an Etsy store full of useless, unattractive items that no one buys unless they're desperate. How dare I try to intervene in Leontina's life? I just stared, open-mouthed at this entire thing. Luckily, there weren't many people in the cafe, but the ones who were there looked vaguely concerned. Ramune wasn't being very loud. She was more speaking rapidly at a low volume. And she was furious. Absolutely livid at me. The weird amount of anger in her eyes was totally baffling. I'm still trying to figure it out. So, when she finally stopped to freaking breathe, I told her that I had no intention of stopping Leontina from living her dreams. Leontina is a big girl who can make her own decisions, and I care about her and what happens to her. Unlike Ramune, who never gave a single crap until Leontina started selling unique. Ooh. Wrong thing to say to her. She immediately grabbed Leontina's hand and left. No retort. No reply. Just an angry, disgusted look, and then they left. The entire time Leontina just stood there looking smug. Not kidding at all. She looked totally smug that her sister was saying all of this to me. So, that's where we are with things. Her sister is a controlling jerk, just like she always was in high school. Except now, she's doing it to her sister instead of her friends. I left feeling a little shell-shocked, as that wasn't what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. Guess who got a knock on their door today? Me. Guess who was on the other side of that door? Ramune. I was expecting a yarn delivery, as my last USPS update had said it was out for delivery. They usually just knock and leave the package on the front porch, so I was very caught off guard when I saw who it was. I didn't even really know what to say. I stammered around like a moron and said, why are you existing on my porch? It made no sense and I felt like an idiot. Ramune rolled her eyes, sighed, dramatically, and said, Leontina wanted me to apologize to you, in person, for the other day. Again, I just stared at her like a moron. She said Leontina was in the car waiting, so I finally gathered myself enough to say, does she want to come in? Do you guys want to come in? But I was very hesitant. Ramune said that Leontina was going to stay in the car, but that she wanted to talk to me herself. Again, those alarm bells went off. She had a weird look in her eyes. So I told her that I'd rather her not come in after our last interaction, and that I was grateful she came by to apologize, but that I had other things to do. She stared at me for a few seconds, not saying anything at all. I was fixing to say okay, well, bye, then or something, but before I could say anything she goes, I did my part now, text Leontina and tell her you're sorry, too, and that we're fine. She doesn't have many friends now and you need to support her more. Again. I stared at her like an idiot. I almost started laughing. Because who acts like that? Then she said, happy people sell products and recruit more people on their teams. I can't have a sad, negative person bringing the vibe of my team down. I need my sister happy and ready to sell. Then she put on her sunglasses and walked back to her car. And that was it. She didn't wait for my reply, she didn't listen to anything else, she just walked away. Also, just by the way, I didn't see anyone else in the car. From how our house is sitting, you can't see the driveway from the front door, so I couldn't even look until she backed out into the street, but you guys, I didn't see anyone in that car. Maybe she was just bending down in the seat to get something off of the floor of the car? That makes logical sense. But I didn't see her. Which is just weird. The entire thing is weird. Yesterday morning I got a call from of Leontina and my mutual friends. She called me on her way to work and she was freaking out. She was running a little behind, so, at the time she was only able to give me a little bit of info. She told me that 3 of our mutual friends have now joined Leontina's unique team. I literally had no words. What's weirder is that my friend on the phone had just had lunch 2 days before this with one of the girls, and they had talked briefly about how they were concerned about the Leontina situation and how we were all just going to step back from it and let it be. Because Leontina and Ramune had both verbally attacked all of us, and some of us more than others, so, the end decision was, they're both adults and can do what they want. At least we've tried to reach out several times. She told me she was shocked by this and that none of them would reply past what one of the girls had said to her in the initial text, which she couldn't tell me at that time due to the time constraints but would fill me in on later. The 3 girls we'll call Kate, Paige, and Stephanie. Paige lives a few hours away, but Kate and Stephanie are both in this area. Not directly, but close enough to be a 45 to 1 hour drive away. I live in a decent-sized city and live about an hour away from another largish city. Both cities are where most of us ended up after college. I know that Ramune approached Kate a few days ago, the same day that she'd just shown up at my house. She did the same thing to Kate, more or less. Kate quickly filled all of us in on the group chat, and I said that Ramune had just been to my place, too. So, everyone was on alert. And then here we are, a few days later, and 3 of them have joined Leontina's unique team. You guys, it's like they're just gone. They left the group chat and none of them would reply to my texts, either. All this being said, I feel like I need to point out that they're all adults and can do what they want with their lives. However, it doesn't sit well with me, or the friend that called me, and we're totally shocked. Especially that Stephanie joined. Because, wow. She was probably the most angry about how Ramune was taking advantage of Leontina. But she was also Leontina's best friend and has been her best friend for years, so I can see how she might get sucked into the situation, simply because she misses her friend. I get that. It's still surprising. So, later last night, my friend called me back. She told me that the initial text she got was from Kate, who said, basically, "Hey, this is probably going to make you guys upset, but Paige, Steph and I are joining Leontina's unique team. We've given it a lot of thought and we want to support her however we can. It's not okay to not speak to people just because they're operating a business, and we'd never thought of it that way. Maybe we don't love the products, but we are all excellent salespeople and can sell the hell out of this makeup, and we'll all make a little extra money. We hope you'll support all of us through this journey." And that was it. My friend replied, initially, with "lol, that's hilarious," because she genuinely thought Kate was joking. Nope. And she never got another reply. She didn't answer her phone calls, either. My friend started getting concerned and also tried to reach Paige and Steph and couldn't. That's why she was running late to work, because she was trying to figure all of this out, and it was truly baffling to her. As of right now, Paige, Kate and Steph are all AWOL. No replies to us. I stalked Ramune's FB page and saw that she was thrilled that her team had grown more and she was treating the newest members to a spa day. That spa day is happening right now. We, my friend that called me and I, have been cut off. Which, honestly, we're okay with. There's some Wi-Fi third crap going on here. I'm telling you, these girls never would have joined this. Paige actually went on and on about how manipulative R is and how she liked her and how she hates how she sucks so many women into MLMs. R's in team is far larger than I initially thought, so there's the next part of this whole thing. At least I'm not involved in this part, which gives me a sense of relief. Because ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, indirectly, it does. And I'm now worried for 4 friends instead of 1. The whole thing is unsettling. Now I think maybe Ramune, if I had let her in, would have tried to talk me into joining her team. I don't know. Let's leave planet Earth. I no longer want to live here. Yesterday, I got an email. This isn't it in the entirety, but it's most of it. Sojade Blonde, I'm emailing you from an account I created just to send you this. I'm pretty sure you'll know who this is, but I'm asking you to not tell anyone. Delete this, don't confront anyone, and just act like you're not aware of what's happening. Please. I'm trying to leave someone's unique team and can't have more drama in my life, so please don't give my name out. I'm pretty worried about how things are going, and you've always been a loyal friend, so you need to know what someone is planning to do. Someone feels like you hurt her business by telling people they should be careful before they just join her unique team. She feels like you robbed her of about 10 to 20 team members, and she's really pissed about it. This someone added about 30 girls to a group chat not too long ago and tried to get us to support her sister, who is one of the newer members in her team. You warned people against it, saying that most people don't make money and that they should be careful. Obviously, you know this, but this is why this person has been so specifically mad about these things. She's been planning on getting a friend of hers, someone on her team, to do this. Many have said they'd love to do it because they pretty much worship the ground she walks on. It's bad. I didn't understand it was like this. They all want to make as much money as she does from this. Guess what? They won't. I won't. I'm only a few days in and I know we won't. I've lost $480 that I won't get back. She constantly tells us to buy more and more product to sell. If we don't, she puts us on blast in front of the group. If we do, she's suddenly our best friend. She's having someone on her team place a large order in your store, and then they're going to leave you a 1-star review. You hurt our business, we can do the same as where she's coming from. I just wanted to give you a heads up, because if you get a large order, just don't accept it, I guess? I'm sorry this happened. I don't understand how she's like this. You guys were right. I'm a little nervous about what she'll do when I leave. It shouldn't matter, right? She's got so many other girls working with her. Wish me luck. And that was it. I know, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a huge deal. However, my business is a small one. I just started it about 4 months ago, and honestly, reviews on Etsy can make or break you. These are handmade items that other people can't touch or wear in person, until they buy them, so they have to go off of the words of others who have bought before them. Usually I let stuff like this roll off of my back because it's petty and childish behavior and I can just go on with my life. But, I've worked very hard to make the items I have. They take a lot of time and effort, and having someone purposely try to sabotage that, even just a little bit, hurts. Also, I would hate for these items that I've so carefully made, just go to someone who won't even wear/use them. They'll, what? Throw them away? Burn them? Who spends money on things like this just to behave this way? I would never do this to Ramune, even though I despise her behavior and the way she hurts and manipulates others. Ramune has a lot of people on her unique team. It's much larger than I initially thought. And I know they're not all here in this area. So do I just not accept any large order for a few months? Do I accept them and hope for the best? I'm not sure what to do here. Update 1. I did snoop through Ramune's and Leontina's Facebook page a bit. Leontina has alienated everyone. She has made several posts complaining about how people who love and support you will always support your business and buy from you, how real friends are the ones who join your team. She even made a post saying that she'd pitch in $50 for someone to buy a unique starter kit if they'd join her team. And on all the posts it's only other presenters who are encouraging this and cheering her on. Ramune's FB is a whole other story. Everyone adores her there. It's honestly like some sort of hellhole MLM mean girls echo chamber. She made one post about how she's so #blessed to be surrounded by so many strong women who look up to her and that she's like a proud mama bird showing all these baby birds how to fly and be responsible business owners. Gross. She did make a mildly threatening remark to someone who questioned some of the unique products, I think the mascara, but that was the extent of the drama. No negativity is allowed on her page, only empowering, uplifting things. Again, gross. So, there's not much to tell, but Elle texted me very late last night, early this morning. Around 2:45 a.m., to be exact. I was still up because I had a root canal Friday and it's the worst. Highly don't recommend. Anyway, this is what happened. Elle, you may have been right. I've been up stressing over my finances. My $12,000 savings are gone. All in barely over a month. I think you were right. I'm having more wine and going to bed. Me, oh, Elle, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's incredibly discouraging, I know. Is there anything I can do to help? No reply yet. Maybe I should have waited until I got a reply before updating you guys, but it was so completely out of nowhere and I figured that if she was going to reply, she would have by now. Or maybe it was the wine talking. She's ill at her sister's house, so I'm sure I talked her right back into things this morning. I'm hoping she's coming out of the MLM stupor. Update 2. As of about a week and a half ago, I got an update from a mutual friend about Leontina. While it wasn't the worst thing I've heard about a friend in an MLM, it wasn't great. But not unexpected, either. And then it got weirder. So, a mutual friend told me that Leontina recently borrowed a significant amount of money from Ramune and from their parents. When I say significant amount, I mean significant, you guys. Apparently, she blew a large portion of her savings on a trip to Cancun. I think that's where they went, very early on, as Ramune had told her that it's a way to show your haters that you're doing just fine, and hey, Leontina was going to make it all back with Unique really quickly anyway. Spoiler alert, she did not. Hence the borrowed money. Their next update I got was that Leontina and Ramune had a huge fight about Leontina wanting to quit doTERRA. Here's where it just gets weird. Ramune doesn't sell doTERRA. I'm not even sure she uses it. If she does, she's not one of those people who preaches about on social media. Which would seem odd because she talks about every other MLM product that she buys, uses and supports other women with. So, her fighting Leontina to keep doTERRA just strikes me as extremely off. She doesn't sell it or use it, why make her sister, who has sold almost zero inventory, keep selling it? It would give Leontina more time to focus on selling Unique. So, Leontina has moved in with a guy she met less than a month ago and refuses to talk to any of us now. When a mutual friend saw her downtown, Leontina was wearing things she'd never worn before and seemed drunk at 2 p.m. Or at least tipsy, our friend said. Our friend was worried and tried to talk to her, but Leontina acted like she didn't know her. Here's where it gets even weirder. The guy Leontina's living with used to work with another mutual friend's fiancé. And now? That guy is in Primerica. So, that's what's happening. For those of you who wanted an update, here you go. If any of you have advice or ideas on how else to reach out and help, please let me know. I love hearing from you guys and you always have great advice and support.